Hey everyone, today we're going to work on our collage. You need to get yourself some scissors and some glue. I have a glue stick and our patterned paper that we've made. And from this, I'm going to cut out the animal I researched, and mine was a monkey. Okay, so now I'm looking at my paper and deciding which one I'm going to use and what mood I'm showing. And sometimes it's a choice, and it is important to have really colorful paper. So this is the one I've chosen for my monkey, and I'm going to start cutting out the shapes. And I might need two pieces. If I do, I'll use that. And now I'm going to cut out the shape of my body. And first, actually, I'm going to cut out the tail because I want it to be on the end, and that's not a good tail, so I'm going to do it again because I don't want it to have a flat edge, and that's a good tail. Now I'm cutting out the body, which is just a big oval. And now I'm going to start cutting out the legs. So my back legs are two long pieces, or my front arms are two long pieces, and the back legs are four smaller ones. So I'm cutting it in half and then in half again, right? So now what's left is I need to have a head and I need to have the feet. So when I'm looking at my paper to think about which way the pattern's gonna go and where I want it to cut out. So I've chosen to use this top corner. And I like that head. I like that the way the patterns work together there. And now I'm going to cut out little sort of ovally circles for the hands and feet. They don't need to be perfect. It's more the idea of the monkey and showing movement and showing mood. And I think that the pattern I've made really shows that he's like sort of happy and energetic, right? Like he's jumping. He's going to be jumping through, you know, the air, right? So I'm placing it down and sort of lining things up so I can see how everything works together. And I'm arranging it so I like the way he moves, right? Because that's important to show movement in a good way. And there is his tail. So now I'm flipping everything over so I can keep it in place and apply my glue. So for this, I'm going to speed it up a little bit, more than it was already. And you can see I'm rubbing and gluing each one down precisely where I picked them up, making sure each one is really covered with glue and holding them down and arranging my pieces so they look exactly the way I want them on my paper. The tail is tricky. You've got to really make sure you get all the edges. The circle is big. That was a little easier. My head. My hands, and there, that's set. So now I'm going to go back to a slower speed, and you're going to see that I'm looking at my paper and I'm deciding about the setting that my monkey's going to be in. And I'm going to use this other paper, and I'm cutting out sort of the ground, something that, you know, will give it a setting. And I'm deciding where I'm going to arrange them and how I'm doing this. And I'm not quite sure where I want it. And you know what? And that looks good to me because it's the ground, and then that one thing going up is going to be a tree trunk. So I'm gluing it down, rubbing it pretty firmly, right? I want to slip that underneath. Sorry, it's a little bit out of the screen, but that's the best I can do. And there we go, and that's my tree trunk. So now the monkey's sort of jumping, and now I'm going to use this green pattern to cut out the treetops. And for this pattern, I used a green marker and colored the whole thing in, and then added my lines and designs right on top. So now I have like this nice wonky tree with these, you know, big leaves on top, and I really like the way that works. And what makes this collage so interesting is the different pattern paper we use. So now I don't like that white spot on the bottom, so I'm gonna try to find some way to add grass that makes that work. And I don't want to cover the whole tree trunk, so I'm gonna sort of move it around until I find the spot I like it. And that's kind of where I want it. But I still want to cover that end spot, so I'm gonna sneak a piece in there. And this way I'm using the entire piece of that collage paper I made, and I like the way that looks. So some grass is sort of behind the tree and some is in front of it, right? So, and I like that. So now what I'm gonna do is I want to use this yellow paper and I want to make a sun. But in order for me to do that, the way I put my monkey, I'm gonna have to make my monkey jumping over the sun, which is gonna be really interesting. Because it's like jumping out of a tree and over the sun, and it's really energetic. So now I'm just making some strips to make like some rays of the sun. And, you know, and I did not add a face to my monkey. And that's sort of intentional. I chose to leave it sort of in a silhouette. Maybe he's looking the other way, he's not looking at the sun, but I just didn't want to put a face on it. Now you can put a face on your animal, you can use more than one pattern in your animal. There's no really right way to do this. The only limitation you have is about your pattern paper. Now we went through and we made our pattern paper really carefully, and the more details and design you put in your pattern paper is going to be what makes your collage look the most interesting. Okay, so I'm almost done, and I'm really liking the way this collage is coming out. Actually, I like it more than I thought I was going to, and what makes this collage work for me is, like, you know, the really cool pattern of green I have, the brown and red, and a little bit of that like tan that's in the tree, and the orange and brown for the monkey. I think these colors work really well all together, and I think the sun looks really nice with that orange and yellow. And I'm really happy with the way this came out. And this is one of these things, the more you work on something, you know, the nicer it comes. You can see I'm just going over and pushing down my edges. And here I was thinking about adding a blue cloud and trying to decide where I would use this other paper. And as much as I wanted to use it, I even cut out this cloud and I arranged it. You know, I put it down different places, and then I decided that, like, I just didn't want to use it. And that's the thing about making art. Sometimes you add to it, and sometimes you decide you're done. So I hope this video is helpful. I hope that you really enjoy putting it together with, you know, making something kind of cool. I hope you enjoyed making your pattern paper. I really did. And here I'm still trying to work that cloud in, and it just doesn't work. So guys, have a great day. Hope to see you really soon, and hope you enjoyed the video. Bye guys.